Welcome back, traders, to another back testing session. Now I want to start off by correcting myself because I did make a mistake last time. I talked about the data for the month of March, but that was the overall stats. Now what I did was copy the March data into its own spreadsheet, and as you can see, the winning percentage is much lower than I said. It is actually 37% strike rate with a negative $43 expected value. So month of March was definitely a down month, so hopefully we can turn that around. Now we're going into April. Okay, let's get that out of the way. And here I have the daily chart, and as you can see that we have hit that projection target. I also have these relative lows out here. Now that's not going to be in play until we start going below this fair value gap. You can see for the past week we've been consolidating, but we stayed in the upper half of this fair value gap. So as long as we are in the upper half and on the lower time frame we have a bullish setup, I am going to be bullish bias. So Monday morning, April 1st, I'm going to be doing April 1st to probably the 3rd. Remember, this is going to be non-farm payroll week because it is the first Friday of the month. So I'm not going to be trading on Friday or Thursday. So probably just 3 days available here. And this is Monday morning, 8 o'clock, and I have been keeping my eyes on these relative highs. I still have my eyes on those relative highs. You can see we went down into 50% of that daily fair value gap. We've rallied up now above, but we just came back down. Now I did have my eye on this Sibby here, but I'm actually going to move it because I do see a volume imbalance here. You can see that we have a gap. This is going to be the new week opening gap between the closing price of last week and the opening price of this week. So looks like we are going to go into here. Now what I want to see is us go into this new week opening gap, but then leave it to the upside and head for these highs. So I'm looking for this to play a role as in support. Quickly on the 15-minute, so I am looking for this to be support, but we could potentially go through it initially and go for these relative equal lows. Just to grab a little bit of sell side. Now I don't really want to see it go below 50% of the fair value gap anymore. I don't want these lows to get taken out, but these are fine to go ahead and wick through, and then I want to see it quickly go back above the new week opening gap. So pre-market, we did drop down into that new week opening gap, and at 9:30 you can see that we are rallying up. Now I don't want to see these highs get taken just yet. I would like to see some retracement first. That way it gives me an opportunity to go in. It's a pretty big gap of 550 to about 500, so about 50-point range in here. I'm going to wait for price to drop down, and perhaps I could take this breaker here. You can see low, high, lower, low. So I could have my stop loss here and then trade somewhere in the breaker, perhaps at the high of the breaker. So this will only give me about 30 points of risk. So I'm going to go ahead and try to go long using these levels. Okay, so we did take out those relative highs. We actually even went above these highs right here. So definitely not what I wanted. I wanted a little bit more pullback. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to wait for price to pull back into here, and then I want to see a confirmation fair value gap to enter in. So I'm not going to be entering into this breaker anymore. Just going to give it a little bit more time to develop. Here we are just before 11. It did pull back very hard, went down below the opening range, or I guess that's the pre-market low, and it's going to look like it's going to go for those relative lows I showed you earlier on the 15-minute chart. So if we sweep that and then we start heading higher, that's where I'll be looking to get in for a long. So it's 12:15. We did go and take the sell side there, and then we started just kind of chopping around a little bit. We took the lows one more time, and now we are above this up candle, or this down candle. So there is a change in state delivery on the 5-minute. Maybe in the afternoon we get some sort of a rally. Hopefully we don't take out this high by tomorrow. This is going to be the trade that I look for. Perhaps we can just go back into equilibrium and then consolidate for a while. That's what I'm hoping. And at the end of the day, you can see that we did start consolidating kind of close to what we opened at. I do like how we are at the high of that fair value gap, or the new week opening gap. So going into tomorrow, hopefully we can see some sort of a setup for these highs. Tuesday morning on the 1 hour chart, we are dropping, guys. We went down below this low right here, pre-market, and we are below 50% of that daily fair value gap, and it looks like we could be heading for this old low as well right here. So if we do sweep that, I mean, I'm not too unhappy. Well, I am kind of, but as long as we don't go below the daily fair value gap, I'll still be okay going for a bullish idea, aiming for these relative highs. You can see that we have 1, 2, 3. We have triple topped. So I definitely look for the buy side liquidity to get taken. Perhaps we can sweep this, and then I want to see some sort of displacement to the upside. I don't want to see us leaving this fair value gap eventually. And of course, if we can go above the new week opening gap, that would be very nice. So here we are a little bit before 9:30's opening bell. We have dropped down lower, taking out that old low I talked about, and we are actually below that daily fair value gap. I don't really like this for the longs. We'll see what 9:30 brings. Hopefully we can get a rally above this high for a market structure shift. Perhaps looking for a confirmation entry to get in after that, but let's just see how 9:30 plays out. I'm not really looking for shorts. I'm gonna go back up to the 4-hour chart just to see, could I be looking for shorts? I mean, I guess I could. We did go below this up candle. It's a little iffy. It's kind of neutral. I think I'm gonna wait to see what 9:30 brings, and we may go for shorts as long as we stay underneath this fair value gap. Okay, so I went all the way to 11 o'clock. 9:30 did not do very much, so it just kind of consolidated. It went down below the lows, and then it's kind of just consolidating now. Only about an hour left before I'm done for the day. Today, I'm guessing it may not be a good trading day for me. It is non-farm payroll week after all, so let's just see what how the morning plays out from here. And here we have 12:30 or 12:15. End of my trading window. Nothing really exciting happened. It just pretty much just consolidated. It did have a rally up above this high, but then it just went back down and is consolidating in the middle of the range. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the 4-hour chart to see where I can have my bias next week or for the next day. So we did see, I was looking for these relative highs. We may be leaving this for later. Since we went down through all of this gap now, this is the first time we've actually filled in this gap entirely. We've went below this 4-hour candle, so we technically have a change in state delivery. So what I'm going to do is I'll probably highlight this 4-hour fair value gap. We'll take a look at the next day mornings to see how it looks, but probably highlight this fair value gap, and if we can see this holding as resistance, then I can aim for some of these lows down here. And of course, we do have relative lows that could be a target going into the near future. And of course, long term, we do have that daily volume imbalance, or the daily void, that we never went back into. Wednesday morning, April 3rd. So taking a look at the 4-hour chart this morning, we can see that we still have maintained that 4-hour SIBI. So I think as long as we are below it, or we are in the bottom half of it at the highest, we can be going for short ideas, aiming for this low, and then perhaps if we get a very exciting move, we can go for these lows as well. But of course, this is going to have to be the initial partial. Just quickly looking at the 1-hour chart, I'm looking at this fair value. I'm not going to draw it out, but I'm looking at this fair value gap. It's mostly in the lower half of that 4-hour fair value gap, so hopefully we can just stay within this one. I am marking out this as the short-term buy-side liquidity. Perhaps we can get a sweep of this. If I see a sweep and then a shift, that's when I'll be going in for a trade short. Here we are on the 5-minute. It is getting close to 8:30. So far, I have seen that we did sweep above this high and this high here, going back into this inefficiency. I do see this large displacement. Now, I'm not going to enter, but if we start coming back up into, like, let's say this fair value gap right here, and we start confirming that we are going to go for lower prices, and we show another fair value gap to the downside, I'll take that one, aiming for this as a partial. And then I am aiming for this. That's going to be that low I marked out on the 4-hour. Okay, so I am really not liking how we took this sell side already pre-market. It is a little bit after 9, so this is the plan for today. I want to see price go up to this short-term buy side liquidity. I want to see this get taken out, or this right here get taken out. Then I want to see a shift to the downside for a short. Other than that, if we don't take out this high, I don't think I'm going to be looking for any shorts just yet. I want to see 930 come out and give me a stop hunt. All right, so 9:30 didn't give it to us, but 10 o'clock did. You can see it on this 10 o'clock candle. Probably was some news or something. We blew out that high. Let me just zoom out a little bit. You can see that we went up above this high. This was what I was looking for. We went above this high as well. So, okay, everything is going to a plan so far. What I want to see is I want to see it start to displace to the downside. I want to see a pretty large fair value gap to the downside, and then I want to see confirmation, and I'll take that confirmation entry. So it's 12:15 now, and unfortunately never got that shift to the downside like I wanted, and I am done for today. Real unfortunate because what, Wednesday and it's non-farm payroll week. You know, you can see the price action is kind of iffy, kind of choppy. It's not really aligning with the higher time frame. And I'm not going to be trading Thursday and Friday, so this time it's going to be a short one, guys. But I will walk through a little bit on Thursday and Friday to see if there's any potential trades, but I'm not actually going to be executing on any for the back test. Looking at Thursday morning, 8:15, I'm looking at price as long as we stay, let's say, above this fair value gap. So I don't want to see price go down below here. It can sweep this low, that should be fine as long as it doesn't go below this big 1 hour up candle. I can see price going for these relative highs up here, and you can probably even take a partial on this singular high. And this is what it looks like at 12:15. So the morning action, pretty much like overnight pre-market, we've been going sideways pretty much. And then right here at 8:30, we rallied up above this singular high, above the relative highs, never gave you a chance to get in. And then at 9:30, we just been slowly grinding down into this inefficiency, and now it looks like we may rally another leg higher. Gonna skip the afternoon session, and just let's take a look at what it looks like at the end of the day. Are we gonna go below this up candle, right? Okay, so we did. It did rally up, and then huge drop down to take all the sell side. Wow. And I don't know, like all this here, I don't really see any pullback whatsoever for a entry short. Yeah, this non-farm payroll week was pretty crazy. Like the moves, they really moved. They don't give you any pullbacks for a entry. So you pretty much have to trade on momentum. And yeah, I mean, if you don't get those big moves, this like sideways action, it was just no fun to be in this non-farm payroll week. Here's Friday morning, 8:15. On the 4-hour chart, you can see that we dropped a lot yesterday. We did not take this out. I don't believe so. I think we just tapped it. Did take out this low and this low as well. So these are pretty much gone. Let's jump into the 1 hour. Just take a look at what it looks like. I mean, I think we can go for lower prices. Perhaps some retracement back into this inefficiency, but could just drop lower from here as well. Kind of 50-50, don't really know what to do. I mean, it went so close to those relative or to those lows. We could either be setting in relative equal lows, or we will want to just dive straight in for that sell side liquidity. And as you can see on the 15-minute chart, it's not looking that great. Just pretty much sideways action, but gradually going up. And 8:30 non-farm payroll Friday, you can see this huge wick down. This was like 100 points. There's no way you're going to be able to, you know, get in, get out. It'll probably slip you a lot. So gonna see what 9:30 brings. Actually, I'm not even going to walk through. I'm just going to go straight to 12:15. And as you can see, 12:15, that was a pretty big stop hunt, taking out all the sell side liquidity. All those sell stops got taken out. We did come down a little bit lower, maybe making short sellers thinking, hey, we could be going a bit lower. But then we just started rallying up pretty much all morning, consolidated a little bit for like an hour, and then just rallied up back into that daily fair value gap. So we've been trading around this daily fair value gap for a very long time. Let's go back to daily and then let's close this off. So you can see that we've been pretty much just trading around this daily fair value gap, went down, created relative equal lows. We did pop through a little bit below this low, so I'm going to take this one off and keep this one on. But you can see that we do have some smooth highs, so there's still a chance that we're going to be going for the buy side above here and here. Maybe, you know, first, maybe after we take out the sell side liquidity, not really sure. But that's going to be next week's problem. But thank you so much for joining me this week for another back testing session. I know it's pretty short, not from payroll, usually not that much going on anyways. So hope you guys enjoyed. Like this video, subscribe for more, and until I see you guys next time, safe trading.